From the labyrinth of loops to the variable valley, we'll see the cliffs of value first. JavaScript's right up your alley. Built-ins, bluff, file spas, array, archipelago. Declarations in a desert where you'll find out how far you'll go. Learn to program, take a ride, buy a ticket, step inside. All aboard, you're at the station to increase your education. Bon voyage, skinny dip! As long as functions you don't skip on this, the JavaScript road trip.
So now you're a master of the loop, right? Hope you enjoyed level 1. And now on to level 2. Sometimes when we're developing, our code needs to decide whether to take one track or the other. And so we have arrived at level 2, Conditional Canyon. You'll remember in the previous level that we printed out all operational trains as well as all non-operational trains in our new train system. We used 2 loops to do that, and here is our previous code. You can see that we used both a while loop and a for loop to get through all of the trains. Our goal here is now to get all of that code inside one for loop. How would we design that? Well, here we have a for loop that loops through not just the operational trains, but through all of the trains. We have it checking to see whether the train number is less than or equal to the total amount of trains. That means that this for loop will move over every single possible train number. But now we need to know how to differentiate between whether the train is running or whether it's not running. So if the train is currently running, we want to print this particular statement. And if it's not, we want to print this other statement that shows that it's not operational. How can we do that? Again, the goal here is to figure out how we can run different lines of code based on different conditions. Guess what? We have a JavaScript trick for that, and it's called if and her buddy else. The if and else statements allow us to execute certain code, but based on specific conditions. Here is the basic shell of an if and an else statement. If some condition is true, then we're going to do this code. This code is the code inside the if block. Else says otherwise, do this code instead. Notice that if the condition in the if block is true, only the if code gets executed, and the else code only gets executed if the if condition is false. Here's a basic example of conditional execution. Say we had 2 values, value 1 and value 2, and we've set them to 4 and 9. Let's use some conditional statements to compare and print out whether one is greater than the other. Here we can see that if we do a comparison of if the value 1 is less than the value 2, we print out that that is true. Value 1 is less than value 2. Else, or otherwise, meaning if value 1 is not less than value 2, we would print out that value 1 must be greater than or equal to value 2. That's because we don't strictly know whether value 1 is greater than, because it might be equal to. So in this case, because value 1 is 4 and value 2 is 9, the if block would trigger because its conditional would be true. Value 1 is less than value 9. And so we would get the printout that 4 is less than 9. What happens if we change value 1 to 12? Obviously we have a different relationship now. So now the if block will not trigger. Why? Because 12 is not less than 9. And so we will move into the else block and we will get a printout that says 12 is greater than or equal to 9. Just trust us. Now that we've got some experience with an if and an else block, let's go see if we can make a difference in our problem. Our original problem was that we needed to figure out whether a train was running or whether it wasn't inside one loop. And now you can probably see how we would use an if and an else to make that situation work out. So we know that if the train number is less than or equal to the operational trains, that means that it's a running train, because we know that all operational trains are numbered from 1 moving forward. Therefore, we can print out that that particular train number is operating. Next, we know that if train number was not less than or equal to the operational trains, it must be greater than the operational trains and therefore a non-running train. so we would print out that it was not operational. So now let's run our new single loop with our special conditionals. We can see that when train number is 1, the first thing that happens inside the loop is it checks the loop condition. Is 1 less than or equal to 12? Yes, it is. That's true. So we will move forward with the loop. The loop will actually continue. And then it will check the condition. Is the train number 1 less than or equal to 8? Yes, it is. And so we will move into the if block and print out that train number 1 is running. That same procedure will happen all the way through train number 8, where we will get printouts that each one of those trains is running. When we finally get to the train number 9, what will happen is the loop condition will check out, it will be cool, and we will continue the loop. But our train number 9 is not less than or equal to 8, and so we will move to the else block instead of the if block, and now we will see that train number 9 is not operational. That same procedure will occur through the remaining trains all the way to train number 12. That will be our last non-operational train. But when the train number becomes 13, finally the loop condition itself will be false and the entire loop will stop. So now we have printed out every last train and whether it is running or whether it is not, and we have done it all in one magical loop using conditionals.